Hey, welcome back to Haven for Heroes channel. And we're going to talk about, should you buy a store exclusive for 60 bucks for a pair of books, or should you go out and buy a vintage book for the same money? So for $50 or thereabouts, probably even maybe a little less, you can get Amazing Spider-Man 83, which is like under 100. So like in the under the first 100 issues. It is a key issue. It has the first appearance of Vanessa Fisk, Kingpin's wife. Really cool book, great cover, and it is an iconic book. Or, I'm not going to pick out anybody specifically, but you know all the store exclusives that are out there. They have one almost every week, if not every month. Probably the thing that bankrupt Diamond is these store exclusives, because as stores failed on their store exclusives, they didn't pay. And since they cost about 10 to 12 grand per, and you're doing one every month, it doesn't take long to rack up a big bill. Also, go find how many are truly successful and hold value. And it's going to be a lot smaller than a really good key issue. Another good key issue you could go and get is Batman. If you don't like Marvel, you can go out and get a Batman 216, I'm pretty sure. You can't quote me on that, it is 216. It is the first mention of Alfred's last name being Pennyworth, which, since there's been a television show, Pennyworth, there's been a lot of things about that, you know, the introduction of his daughter. So it is a very important part of Batman canon. So that book for the same 50 bucks, or, you know, since it's not some hot flash in the pan new book, you might get it for half that price or 25% off on a sale. I would suggest that you think about your collection as what is going to be valuable 30 years from now, right? If you are going to leave them to your kids or to somebody else in your family, try to pick out books that are iconic. You should always get what you enjoy, right? So I gave an example of Spider-Man and Batman. They're probably the two most popular and successful comics out there. But there are a lot of other books that are iconic to Marvel and DC. Early Image, you know, there's some Spawn books that are very important that currently, because they printed millions during the 90s, is not, you know, a $50 or $60 book. But 30 years from now, because it's an important to the canon of the character and its continuity, that those books will probably go up. And that's what's shown over the years, right? If you go back, the books that have held their value and steadily gone up slowly are all the books that are very important to the continuity and the canon of the character. First appearances of villains, costume changes, you know, certain artists working on it for the first time, or an artist's first time working on it. The other thing is that you may want to collect artists that you think will be iconic in the future. Look, if you were back in the day, if you were collecting Bill Sienkiewicz, he had his following, but it was small. And you could buy his books very cheaply, and you can't anymore, especially some of his first works. Especially some of the work he did on the New Mutants. So they're all going up and will continue to go up forever. I think if you really look at it, look back 5 years when the store exclusive game really started to heat up. Try to find one that, try to find 5 or 10 that you can name right off the top of your head. Now, if you're in that game and you like making them and creating them, yeah, you can name them. But the comic book community, do they remember it? Will they be looking for it in 5, 10 years? If you're collecting for 30 or 40 years, will they be rare and people will be looking for them? If it was a key issue, if it wasn't a key issue, I don't think people are really going to be overpaying. I can kind of put this at Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering has some cards, some early cards that are worth, 30 to 60 cents. But the foil version of them, some of them have values of $100 and $200. They almost never sell. I have a lot of them and I still have them. I've had them for many years. They have these very high values, but rarely sell. It is such a very finite niche market. And I think that is where these store exclusive variants are going to end up. The store exclusives where people overprinted them and did 3,000 copies, they will probably be the worst. The people who have printed more and said they had less, they also will probably not do well. I'm not telling you how to collect. I'm trying to give you some advice. If you super enjoy the store exclusives because you like the art on the cover, why don't you try to get a print of the cover? If the interiors are the same, if you like the art, buy the art. You can get the comic as the regular format and you'll be wealthier. They're buying these books at probably $2.50 to $4 a piece, and they're asking you to pay $60, $40. And then what you see as they don't sell, the price keeps coming down and down and down. And then they're blowing them out, and then it really kills the value of the variant. And if you bought in early at the high price and they're blowing them out at the end, your book is not, it's going to take forever for your book to come back. And people will remember that the book was blown out. Everybody says, oh, well, you find dollar books in there, but they're finding key issues. If you hit one that's a key issue and it's a store exclusive, down the road, people want all the variants of particular books. Yeah, maybe, but that's one where you could get multitudes of iconic books that are important to canon that you can get at an affordable price and put in your collection forever. And all they'll do is just keep going up. If you buy a store variant exclusive right now, probably the first thing it's going to do is go down. So if for whatever reason you need to sell your collection, and let me tell you, in my youth, I've sold about 3 of my collections because I needed to fix my car, I needed to pay a light bill. You may have to sell your collection. And it's better to have a Silver Age or Bronze Age key issue than some store variant. Because I consider, unless it's a key issue, the store variant cover means nothing to me. If it's not a key issue, it'll be bulk, and you'll get 15 to 25 cents for it. So maybe you won't sell it to me. Maybe you'll find somebody else that would pay for it. But I know dealers are buying these on closeouts from other dealers. So I don't suspect they would buy it from a citizen. Maybe if you went to the store that originated it, maybe they would buy it just to try to hold the value. But in saying that, buy what you like. If you want to grade your book, but be advised and be knowledgeable about what you're paying for. That you're not getting protection, guaranteed. You're not getting a guaranteed grade. Nobody knows what a book inside of those plastic wells for 20 years is going to be like if you crack it out. If that company will still be around in 20 years when you go to sell your books. So it's no longer the hot company to have it done by. All that money that you're spending to grade your books now could be used to increase your collection and the value of your collection. Now, you think that the grading of the books increases the value of the collection only when it goes to market. Sitting in your collection at your house, it does not increase the value of your book until you go to sell it. And I know you're saying, Well, if I sold it tomorrow, the value would be increased. Yeah, but you could get it graded before you sell it. When you're ready to sell, that's when you should grade and not before. Keep reading comics.